This week I'm painting some commission pieces for a customer. There's an end table and it's in kind of poor condition. It's a particle board piece, so the top is kind of has bumps on it and it has some chips. So I'm going to attack the top first. I'm going to try this trick. I wet a cloth and then I'm using the steam iron on the highest setting to try to diminish those bumps. I think if this would have been just a sheet of veneer on real wood, this might work. Sometimes you can puncture it and with a pin and do this, but on this it didn't work so well because it was particle board, and so the entire part of the wood swelled, maybe from water damage or most likely from that. But this trick is a good one to keep in your arsenal, but probably just for real wood with veneer on it. So, you know, if it doesn't work, you gotta try it, then you try something else. So the next thing is to take some coarse grit sandpaper and work on those bumps. So that's what I did. And then I got started painting on the inside of the cabinet. I just painted the floor of the piece simply because the doors would close and you would see that, and it would be awkward to just paint a line behind where the doors closed. Now technically I could have painted the entire inside of the piece, but when you have stuff in it, who sees it, right? So that's a matter of personal preference, but I did not choose to paint the entire inside of the piece. When you are doing some cutting in like this, use your brush as a tool. Of course, Dixie Belle brushes are the best in my opinion, and this is a mini, so it's a nice flat brush. There's also an angled mini as well. But right now I'm just using this one, and just press down on the brush, get it in as close as you can, and just move it slowly and follow that line. So I continue to paint until I get the entire piece done. In my estimation, there was no need to use the boss or slick stick, because when I sanded the top, I just kind of continued to sand a little bit all over the entire piece and just rough up that surface a little bit to accept the paint. So there was no need for that, and also no need for primer, because it's not real wood, so we don't have to worry about tannins bleeding through, and there really were no odors to concern ourselves with either. The painting continued. I had removed the doors because that was just going to be the easiest thing to do, because I was painting the hardware as well. So I did paint the inside of the doors as well. I like to lift the doors up when I'm painting the sides so I don't get a hard ridge or any of the paint to seep underneath. I love painting cabinet doors. Okay, I did use some spray paint in a matte black to paint the hardware. I'm also painting hardware for another piece here, so that's why all of that hardware is there. It's not all for this table, but hey, why not kill two birds with one stone and just get all your work done at once, right? So these are wooden knobs that I'm mixing with some metal handles, but they're all getting the same paint treatment, so it'll work. Okay, now on to the waxing. I'm using some easy peasy spray wax before I use some brown wax. I just learned a tip from Malia Klein of Mustard Tree Market the other day that I had never heard before, and I loved it. She said, shake it, you'll hear liquid, and then stop shaking it when you don't hear anything anymore. It's, blows my mind every time now. That's when it's creamy like wax and you can stop shaking. So good tip, one to remember. Thanks, Malia. So now I'm going to use some brown wax, and I'm using Dixie Belle's new La Petite brush. And I love it because it's great for holding a lot of wax, but it's also pointed, so I can use it in those corners of the cabinet. So the idea of putting the Easy Peasy on before using the dark wax is that if you didn't, that chalky surface that you get after painting with chalk paint is very porous, and it'll just grab onto that dark wax. And you might get some spots that you really don't want as dark as you get them. And the Easy Peasy spray wax allows you to sort of float that wax on the clear wax. It also acts as an eraser if you get a spot that's too dark and you don't like it. So I just like to use a cloth or a paper towel and just continue to rub it until you get some nice soft shadowing in there. So I continue to wax along the lines because it sort of looks like a beadboard inside the frame. So I just wax along all of those details, and along the outsides there's some nail head looking things on the seams. So just kind of working all of it, and then don't forget the area around where your handles will be. I also like to do around the edges too. So anywhere that dirt would naturally gather or something would naturally age, that's where you want to concentrate your dark wax for distressing. So again, if you get too much, just spray a little bit of the Easy Peasy either on the area or on your paper towel or a soft cloth, and just go back over it, and it'll take some of that dark wax away. So that's what I'm doing right here. Just had it a little bit too dark, so I'm just pulling back some of that wax. And next, I continue to wax the rest of the piece. I do each of the sides and all the details across the top and underneath that lip and along the bottom and just a little bit along the sides. I do all four sides. Now's a good time for me to tell you, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. We are working towards our goal of 1,000 subscribers, and if you visit my Instagram page, La Vintage Decor, you'll see some details on a contest. We're doing a $500 giveaway. So if you don't see that, just send me a message, make a comment here on this video, and we'll get you the details. Also, if you're looking to purchase Dixie Belle paint or products, there is a link in the description box with my affiliate link. Okay, so now it's time to wax the top, and I go pretty heavily on the wax, and I want it to be mainly the white with just the distressing around the edges. That's the goal here. I'm getting my mileage out of this cloth, aren't I? Sometimes I go through paper towels like crazy, and other times I'll hang on to one and use it for the whole project. I guess I just kind of like the way it feels after it gets a buildup of wax on it. Also, I like the way the color distributes after it has some of the dark wax on it too. It just kind of helps to distribute it, to shade it a little bit, give it a little more blending.